Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea and I have been selling on Etsy for 8 years. This YouTube channel is just where we talk about things that Etsy sellers need to know, best practices, day in the lives of me running my embroidery business on Etsy, just basically all things Etsy. So if that is what you're interested in, you are in the right place. Today specifically, we are going to be talking about how to set a Christmas order deadline for your Etsy shop. Okay, so at the time of this video, it'll post on November 4th, and that means that we, as Etsy sellers, are verging into the season where we are gonna be, one, very busy with holiday orders, and two, needing to let our customers know what the last day they can order something from our shop is and still receive it by December 25th. So this is what we call a holiday cutoff date. This is what most people call a holiday cutoff date. Basically, this is the date that you're gonna say, like, all items from my shop ordered by December 4th will ship by December 12th, should arrive by December 25th. It's basically a last day for your customers to order an item from your shop and still, barring any postal delays, receive it by Christmas. So that is what we are talking about today, just why you need to set one of those up, how to set them up, what it looks like at our shop. We've been doing this for 8 years. And I feel like I've developed a pretty good system of making sure that people are well informed, but also making sure that I'm protected as far as, like, you know, you never want to like guarantee that something's gonna get there on time, but just making sure that people are most as informed as they possibly can be about their order around the holiday season. So before we dive into the actual how to do it, I do want to let you guys know two things. One, this is an opinion thing, obviously. I don't think this is optional for sellers who are selling physical products. So products that actually you need to like package up, put them in the mail and take them to the post office and get to your customer in time for Christmas or in time for whatever they celebrate. I don't think that an order deadline is an optional thing. I think that you have to have one. It's very, very important for keeping your customers informed. And I also think that it actually really does help with sales, just because there are definitely times when people don't order something just because they don't think they'll get it by Christmas, and so you don't want that to happen to you. Yeah, I think that this is something that's basically a non-negotiable. So before we move into the how, I wanted to let you guys know that this isn't something that I think is just like a good thing to try out if you have time. I think this is something that you absolutely have to do. And secondly, very important point, do not miss this part. If you say that you are going to ship an item by a certain date, you must have follow through. You cannot say that I will ship them all by this date and then not do it. If you are going to not do it, you must message your customer as soon as you possibly know that you are not going to be able to fulfill that deadline, and give them the option to either switch to another thing that you can fulfill in time or cancel the order entirely. This is so important. It's where Etsy sellers get an extremely bad rep. It's an absolute setup for a bad review. You must have follow through when it comes to actually shipping your orders when you say you will ship them. Okay, so now that we have those 2 points out of the way, I just wanted to say them first and foremost, because I think they're really important for this particular topic. Now that we have that out of the way, let's start with how to set a postal deadline. So first things first, this is mostly for, this is for the sellers that follow me that are in the United States. I don't know what other deadlines look like in other countries, what your postal service provides you with, what information they provide you with. So this formula is based on the United States sellers. You can definitely extrapolate out the data and look up stuff for your own country, but that's where we're located, and so that's what I know, and so I don't feel comfortable teaching stuff I don't know. So just a disclaimer, this is pretty much exclusively for United States sellers. So the premise of choosing a date at our shop just basically works backwards from the USPS dates that we are given on their website. So I will link this website in the description below, but basically the United States Postal Service gives you if you just like Google USPS holiday cutoff dates 2022, they give you a date for each mail service that they have for the last day that it'll arrive by the 25th. So they give you their cutoff dates, and then we at our shop work backwards from that cutoff date. So this year, First Class, the cutoff date for the USPS, not for my shop, for USPS, is December 17th, and Priority is December 19th. So those are the two shipping classes that I use. I think they might have more shipping classes listed on that website. I'm not really sure, but those are the two that we use like the most in our shop. And so for this year, the two dates that we are going to work backwards from in our shop, calculating how long it takes something to get in stock or how long it takes us to make something, are December 17th for First Class and December 19th for Priority. Okay, so what does this look like in practice in our own shop? So we have, one of our most popular items, I'm not shy about this on this channel, is our monogram Sherpa pullover. It's been popular for like 6 years. This is a popular item every year in Christmas time. So I'm just gonna show you guys how we would set that particular date in our shop. So for our Sherpas, we actually keep those in stock. A lot of the stuff that we buy, which I'm gonna talk about this later, but a lot of the stuff that we buy, we order it whenever we get the order, and then it comes into us and then we make it and ship it out. So obviously those take a little bit longer to get in stock and to turn around, but our Sherpas we keep in stock. And so for busy season, I will actually adjust these dates in the actual listing itself, but for busy season, we can bank on sewing every day. And so our Sherpas can be turned around in 1 to 2 days. So if you order something honestly before 9 a.m., it'll get shipped that same day. If you order something after 9 a.m., there's still a chance it'll get shipped the same day, but almost guaranteed it'll ship the next day unless you order on a Friday or Saturday, or Sunday it would ship on Monday. So basically we turn these around pretty fast for custom Etsy seller standards. So I would, long story long, these take 1 to 2 days to make. So we can get the order and turn it around in 1 to 2 days. That means that we would make our cutoff for this. They ship via USPS First Class every time. They're less than 16 ounces, and so they ship First Class. That means that the cutoff for these particular items would be December 10th. You will notice that whenever I say December 10th, there's a lot of wiggle room in that. I wanna make sure that I am leaving wiggle room for, I know that like sometimes people say, will it be there by Christmas? They actually mean Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. And I want to give wiggle room for myself just in case, I don't know, I get sick or something and can't go in and sew it that day. I can do it the next day. I just like there to be a lot of wiggle room. And I know my customers want that as well. And then it also gives me the opportunity to, whenever someone says on December 11th, hey, can I still order one? I can say, yep, it should be there in time. We give wiggle room. This is what the USPS is saying, yada, yada, yada. You can understand what I'm saying there. And so basically, the tip I have for you is to go ahead and calculate how long, how fast does it take you to actually get an order out the door? Not how fast does it take you to make it, because it takes me 20 minutes to sew a Sherpa. How many days does it take for you to get an order out the door? From the moment it gets placed to the moment you ship it out and bring it to the post office, and then work backwards from the USPS postal date and leave wiggle room. That is so, so important, and that is how we do that in our own shop. Okay, so once you have established the dates, you need to now do 2 things. So the first thing you need to do is update the actual shipping time on the shipping profile or on the listing itself so that Etsy knows you'll ship it fast, because that just helps you a lot in search, because Etsy, especially around Christmas time, kind of ranks those faster shipping ones higher. And I think they might even, in years past, I'm not guaranteeing it'll happen this year, in years past they've had like a get by Christmas filter. And so basically, you're going to want to edit the actual ship time, and then you're also going to want to go ahead and add some information to your description explaining what the deadline is. And so I'm just gonna read you what we would type out in our description, what we typed out. I think this was last year. We typed out this exact text into our descriptions, and I will show you later how to do them in bulk. I'll do a little screen share, but this is how it would read in our descriptions. All Sherpas ordered by December 10th will be shipped out via USPS First Class mail by December 15th. Barring any post office delays, this gives enough time to have it by the 25th for those who live in the contiguous US. So there's a lot of information there. What you want to have is 1, the cutoff date, 2, the mailing, I guess how you're gonna mail it. So we say we mail it USPS First Class mail, what date we are going to ship it by, December 15th, the Critical thing you need here is barring any post office delays. You want to make sure that you say that because that kind of takes the liability off of you and puts it on the post office, which a lot of people want to get up in arms over it, and there's just nothing you can do once you drop off the package. And so that kind of just takes the liability off of you. I'm not so sure it would dodge you from a bad review, but it would at least dodge you from like any sort of case, I think. So then you want it to say this gives it enough time to have it by the 25th for those that live in the contiguous US. So I make sure to put the cutoff date, when we're going to ship it by, the mail service that we choose, the verbiage, barring any post office delays, when they should get it by, and where it has to go for them to get it by that date. So obviously I put that contiguous US because I don't want someone from England to say, oh, well, you said by December 10th. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was for international shipping, not the US. Obviously it would take longer. You get what I'm trying to say. I don't want that to happen. And so that is all the things that we include in our description. I will go ahead and put that in the description of this video, so you can just go ahead and copy and paste it. Obviously fill in your info, but I will go ahead and just put that in the description so you can use it as like a little bit of swipe copy, just so that you can use it and know what to say and you cannot forget anything, because I know that on videos it's kind of hard to be like, okay, you wanted to say this, 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 and this, because I think I just listed out like 7 things. Okay, so once you have your cutoff date chosen and you know like what you're gonna put in the listing description, you can add this to all of your listings in bulk. And so I'm gonna screen share now and show you guys how we would add this to the listing descriptions in bulk. That way we're not just going through to like each of our 70 listings and having to copy and paste this in. You can add it in bulk. So I'm gonna screen share that with you now and show you how to do it kind of the fastest way possible.
Okay, so like everything that we do in Etsy, you're going to start in your shop manager, and then you're just going to come over to the listings tab. And then what I'm going to do, so obviously you guys can select like this, and this is, you're just going to select the listings that you want to add it to. If you want to select all of them, you can do that and then hit select 76 on all pages or whatever. I am actually only going to do my Sherpas because like I mentioned in the video, they don't all ship at the same time. So these are the Sherpas that ship, with that deadline that I was talking about. So then all I'm going to have to do is select the ones that I want to add it to, come up here to editing options, hit edit descriptions, and you can either, so I've already copied what my text would be. So obviously you can see that that doesn't look very good. But I actually want to add this to the end. I do not like adding it to, there you go. I guess I got rid of it. Okay. So I'm going to enter down. And you can see that this is how it's going to show up on all the listings. It's just going to show up just like this. And so that is all I really needed to do. Sometimes I put like emojis, which maybe sounds dumb, but I feel like it helps people see it. So I'm just like going to do like some emojis. But other than that, I really just, that is exactly how you do it. And that's how it's going to show up. And then you just hit apply. And then if we just open up a different one on Etsy, you will see that it comes up over in the description right here.
Okay, so that is how you add them in bulk. One thing I forgot to mention that you can include in the description if you would like to is an optional for more info about USPS holiday cutoff deadlines. Follow this link and you can link out to the USPS page just so that they can have like more info about it. I don't normally do that, but you definitely could. Okay, so that is how we handle listing descriptions, updating the shipping times, doing it in bulk, all those sorts of things. Now I want to move into how we handle convos about this particularly. So we use the exact same wording for convos. This is a question that you will get literally constantly. So you're going to want to make this a canned response in Etsy just because you will, I'm not even kidding you, get the question, when will this ship? Will I have it by Christmas? Will I have it by this date? Can I have it by this blah, blah, blah? Like over and over and over again, you're going to get this question. And so you're definitely going to want to make it a canned response. But basically, whenever we are answering combos around Christmas time, asking about ship dates, we more or less use the exact same wording that we have in our description. Like all orders placed by this date will be shipped like this and by this date, blah, 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 barring any postal delays, yada, yada, yada. We basically copy and paste that exact same thing into the convo, but we also add one little blurb of text basically saying, once your item is shipped, you will automatically receive tracking to your Etsy account email. That kind of lets them know, obviously only include that if they have placed an order with you. If they are just inquiring, don't include that because they don't have an order. But I just let them know, like, in a nice, loving way, you will be updated when it ships. You will get a notification when your item ships, and that kind of makes it to where they're not constantly convoing me. Granted, like, we ship our orders, we turn them around pretty quick, so they don't have the opportunity to really convo me, but genuinely, some people will convo you like every hour and be like, when is it gonna ship? When's it gonna ship? When's it gonna ship? And saying, like, once your item does ship, and just getting out ahead of that and say like, you will receive an email to the Etsy email to the email account that your Etsy account is associated with. And then that will kind of ease their questions going forward. So we just add that little blurb, and that is how we answer combos during Christmas time when people are asking when their order is gonna be there. One last thing to note that might be helpful for you is that not all items in our shop have the same cutoff. So if your shop is like my shop, you might be able to, like I mentioned before, like, we stock our Sherpas, we don't stock everything else. The cutoff times for those need to be very, very different, because honestly, I think we would lose orders if they weren't, because if someone orders a Comfort Colors quarter zip from our shop, we just can't turn that around faster than 5 days usually. But a Sherpa we can turn around next day or 2 days. And so I make sure that I reflect that in the cutoff wording, in the ship times, in the convos. I want people to know that if they order a Sherpa, they can get it sooner. And this might be helpful for you if your shop, if you have some stuff that's like ready to ship now, or you stock like I do, I would definitely consider adding basically specializing the cutoff dates for those items specifically, just so that you get more orders. Honestly, I think it's really helpful with getting orders. So yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that not every item in our shop has the same cutoff date. Okay, so all of that to say, the most important thing with this, like, it could all be boiled down to just make sure that you set a date, make sure that you have follow through, and make sure that your customers are well informed about when they're going to get their package during Christmas time, and you will have an amazing busy season. I already know it. I'm so excited. I get so excited for busy season every year, and I will definitely be bringing you guys along via vlogging. Hopefully I can vlog some of our busy season days, those are very busy. But yeah, I'm so excited for busy season. I hope this video was helpful. If you're interested in growing on Etsy or just Etsy seller tips, that is what we talk about every single week around here. So make sure to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.